Well, hello everyone. Good morning and be careful out there. We've already had quite a bit of snow falling from about the 3 a.m. hour right on through the 5 a.m. time, and some areas well over an inch to about 2 inches in some locations. Let's go ahead and take a look at our current temperature. 16 degrees. Winds have been very tough out of the northeast at about 13 miles per hour. This is in Jackson. Let's go ahead and take a look at Memphis at 20-mile-per-hour winds and 16 degrees. Wind chills have been down around the 0 mark. Very cold out there this morning, but it's going to get much colder than this as we head into the next couple of nights. But plenty of cold air to support the snow, the sleet, and the freezing rain, and it's the freezing rain that we're most concerned about. This is an example from the early 90s, just kind of showing what can happen in these ice storms. At about a ½ inch, you can start to see the guy wires of FM radio towers be damaged. At 3/4 of an inch, you can start to see that tower having structural problems, and over an inch of accumulated freezing rain, you can see those towers sometimes buckle under the weight. We actually saw scenes like this back in the '94 storm that brought down trees and power lines throughout portions of North Alabama and parts of Tennessee, where we saw scenes like this everywhere when I was a little younger, for sure. But anyway, this could be part of what we're going to deal with here, as we're anticipating a band of sleet and freezing rain to lift in over the areas that's already been getting snow. And you can see, looking at the national radar, we've still got a lot to go in this storm, which is being fueled by the Gulf of Mexico right there around the Houston, Texas area. More rain just kind of pumping into this big storm system and falling. So far this morning is mostly a snow variety over the area. Lots of accumulated parking lots and white streets throughout Memphis, back over into places like Humboldt. You'll see some of those pictures here in just a moment. But another concern with this, it's a three-part system. Is going to be the extreme cold that's going to come in after all the freezing rain and the snow is long gone. Now, talking about Sunday night, look at that. That's your high temperatures in the low 20s, but look at Paris. So it doesn't matter if you're going to be north or south, east or west. It's going to be cold, as I've been saying. 4 degrees below zero actual temperature for Sunday night. How about 10 below zero possible for Monday night? And then it doesn't matter if you're further south, it's still going to be brutal. Here's a look for an example of Savannah, and you can see we'll be about 3 degrees for the temperature overnight low Sunday night to 5 below zero for Monday night. So it is going to be brutal. Notice the model here taking you through the morning. It's mostly snow till about 7 to 8 a.m. And then we see that freezing rain and sleet lifting in across the southern counties, a very heavy band of snow along the I-40 corridor, followed by a very heavy batch of sleet and freezing rain across the I-40 corridor. We see the freezing rain going on tonight. This is going through the overnight hour into the early morning hour of Sunday. Heavy snow across northwest Tennessee, lots of freezing rain. That's the red areas showing up. So we've got about 20 hours of wintry precipitation to go, and it is a serious situation because the longer we see that freezing rain going, remember, forecasts have been calling around 1 to 1 inch and a quarter. When we get closer to that scale, we start to see large tree limbs coming down, and even in many times just about the whole tree, any of the limbs can just break off and snap and come to the ground, and they can cause injuries or deaths. So be aware of that as the freezing rain continues, and it's going to get a lot heavier in the southern counties into the late morning through the afternoon hours. Be aware if you've got big trees over you. If you live in a mobile home that's got large tree limbs that come over the top of it, go somewhere safer. It's just too risky. And we could see those types of accumulations getting underway on top of the snow that we've already had. Snowfall, it's going to be several inches. We already had around an inch there in the Ripley and Memphis areas, but it's going to be continuing throughout the morning. We'll put a few more inches down. Here's a general totals map here. I also drew one out that's been kind of lining up pretty good so far, but you can see the greater snowfall amounts across northwest Tennessee, where you see less of the sleet, less of the freezing rain, And then south, you'll still have about 2 to 5 inches there along the I-40 corridor on top of the sleet and the freezing rain totals to go with it. And you can see those dangerous sleet and freezing rain totals from the Tennessee River, where we could see up to about an inch, inch and a quarter at the worst. And again, that would cause lots of power outages and lots of tree limbs down. The area in red is of most concern, but also in pink, a little further north, where we're anticipating more of that freezing rain coming up later throughout today and tonight. Looking at your 7-day forecast, it doesn't do us any good either. Look at those bitter cold temperatures. This is kind of the average for the Jackson and surrounding areas. One look at the 7-day real quickly before we go back to the regular programming. Look at those -2s there. And as you saw for Paris, we could be looking at about 10 below zero there for Monday night. So it's going to take a while. This is going to be on the ground for a few days. Take plenty of precaution. Make sure you've got those non-perishable food items and plenty of blankets because some of you will most likely be losing power. We'll be here on generator. Should we lose power, we'll go to that. We'll try to stay on the air at all costs and keep you up to date. More live updates coming up through today, tonight, and tomorrow. We'll be updating you on the latest going on with the weather and what's expected. And we'll be on 24/7. Take care, stay safe, and after about 8 or 9 o'clock this morning, travel's not recommended, especially as the freezing rain and sleet starts to pump north in areas just south of the I-40 corridor. This has been meteorologist Brian Davis for West Tennessee Weather. We'll have more updates a little bit later. Stay with us.